Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Hello, welcome to Ties vs. Dies. So today I will be taking you through the triple diamond fan fold with a spine and a half diamond sleeve and a half block side. In the video right here you can see me starting in on that design of the triple diamond. Be sure to use your binder clips and your washable markers, of course. And a big part to point out with the fan fold is you could pretty much get any design that you want broken down with the fan fold. As long as it's a symmetrical design, you should be good to implement it on your tie-dye designs, as you can see as I'm doing here. And another good part about this particular fold is that it's very good for dye absorption. It's very good for soaking up in between the two different layers if you want to have a contrasting color scheme going, or if you want to have complementing colors going, you can do one side of the fan fold color A and the other side color B. Also, something I wanted to point out, a main thing is what I would hope that you can start thinking in terms of your tie-dye designs would be that we break down the more complicated and more advanced designs into separate sections. So as you can see me doing here, I am putting each part of the shirt into a different bundle, and that is a different section. So right here I'm doing the sleeves, and those are your main options. You have your sleeves, the front of your shirt, the back of your shirt, the sides of your shirts, and as far as design goes, the rest of the body. And you could also break that down into the upper, the lower back of the shirt, the upper, the lower front of the shirt, and the upper and the lower sides of the shirt. And that's what you really need to start thinking in terms of if you're going to start to do these more advanced tie-dye designs. And for me, it was a really rough learning process, and so that's why I'm here to try to help spread some of that knowledge and try to lace you all up on anything that you may need help with. And so notice right here I'm doing the fan fold, and you want to keep them as symmetrical as possible. About 1.5 inch folds is what I'm using here, and you just do that all the way up the design. And another thing to keep in mind is when doing the fan folds, you don't want it to bunch up and block the next layer. You want to keep it as flat as possible. That way when we get to the dye application process, you can get a really saturated finish of the dye application. And that's going to be key, because too many times when we try to apply dye, we think that we've applied a lot, we think we've applied enough, and then it doesn't turn out that way. And there's nothing that is more of a deterrent or of a something that's going to make you not feel as motivated to continue to tie-dye if you continue to experience that. So even fan folds, good dye absorption, good saturation, that's key. That's what you want to focus on. And so right here I'm folding up the rest of the shirt. I just did a basic scrunch fold on this, and the reason for that is that when the body of the shirt is done, it's going to look really good. It's going to look like clouds in between the main designs, which is actually coming up right here, to where these are the main breakdowns of the spots on the shirt that we're doing in this particular tie-dye design, to where you have, like I said, the front of the shirt, the spine, the arms, and the sides. And so this particular fold, there they are right there. That's the 4 main parts, and then the scrunch in the middle brings them all together. And so we're going to get into the dye application here. And so we're starting with petal pink, and that's going to be one of the main colors we use, aquamarine. So we're going with pink, blue, purple, that's the royal purple, and I believe bubblegum pink. Yes, so we're going to do complementing colors with the blues, the pinks, greens, and then purple is going to kind of be the breaking color. And so I went ahead and I used sinew to tie the rest of this shirt up, to give more emphasis on those lines, on those separation. It's good with the rubber bands. The rubber bands works very well. I just wanted a little bit more defined separation for this particular design, and with the sinew you can very well achieve that. Thing to keep in mind though with the sinew is that when you are going to use it, it tends to really constrict the fabric of your material, and so the dye absorption does not happen as easy with sinew for whatever reason. You really need to go heavy on the saturation. You really need to maybe 3, 4, 5 passes over it sometimes to get the absorption that you're going to be happy with at the end. If you try to rush through it, if you try to cut any corners on it, then your finished result's not going to be what you wanted, and it's going to be just a heartache. So try to consider that, try to keep that in mind. And then also right here, the reason that we're using the green to break the colors on the main parts of the design. So you see right there, the spine ends in green, the front diamond, triple diamond fan fold ends in green, the sleeve ends in green, and then the side ends in green. And that's to give emphasis on where each part of the design is starting and stopping. And so you can see it right there. They start and stop with the different greens. And so I'm also using emerald green, and that's to give a little bit of emphasis on the color. So I like to use a dark and a light color of the same dye. So it would be a light green and a dark green. I'm also using a lighter blue and a darker blue, a lighter blue or a lighter pink and a darker pink, I'm sorry, and then purple to kind of tie all those in together. And so I would recommend doing that. It really makes your shirts look more advanced, it makes them look more dynamic, and it makes them pop and stand out a lot better. And another way to achieve that, if you don't have so many different options of dye to choose from, is to simply water them down a little bit. So you would get a dye color, apply some of it, and then you add water to it to kind of water it down, to change the tone of it, to change how dark or light it is, and then you could work with it that way. So you could give, you know, 2 of the same exact color dyes, just a little bit more water, a little bit less water, and you'll get a different outcome on the shirt. It's good to do it in steps, in segments. So do 1 round of dye application, let it sit for 20-30 minutes, and then do another round, and really do as many of those as you can. And so this is the finished result right here. Notice that green separation, that bold line right there. Notice the pinks, the pink and the purple contrast. Notice the different depths of each color scheme, like I had said, the 2 blues, the 2 pinks, the 2 greens. And that's going to be all for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will put out another one soon. So thank you for your time. Tie-dye the world, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.